welcome back to Black Press. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe.
Now let's get to it.
Hello, thank you for watching. Welcome back to We Are
Black Press.
If this is your first time watching, please remember to like, subscribe, and comment.
And share with somebody else. Keep the conversation going.
All right, let's get into it.
So we're not going to do too much politics today, but I just got to talk about this debate that just happened today with Senator Raphael Warnock and Mr. Herschel Walker.
Yes.
Yeah, it was an alright debate. It's just one thing that I just want to point out before we get into the other stuff. So everybody remember, if you don't remember, so it was found out that Herschel Walker was lying when he tried to falsely say that he had been in law enforcement. So it came up in the topic as far as police reform. Check it out, listen to it, see what you want to think about it.
Called them and I prayed with their families, like those officers lost in Cobb County when they were killed, doing what police officers routinely do. You can support police officers, as I've done, through the COPS program, through the Invest to Protect program, while at the same time holding police officers, like all professions, accountable. One thing I have not done, I've never pretended to be a police officer, and I've never threatened a shootout.
I tried to hold that in.
Well, and now I have to respond to that.
We are moving on,
I
gentlemen.
have to respond to that. And you know what's so funny? I am with many police officers.
He pulls
At
out
the same time,
Mr.
a
Walker,
Marshall
Mr.
band
Walker,
that
Mr.
he
Walker,
got
Mr.
from
Walker,
his
excuse
son's
me,
toy
Mr.
box.
Walker.
When he
Please,
said probably
out of
the
respect,
truth is
I
in
need to
here.
let you know, Mr.
Yes.
Walker, you are very well
Yes.
aware of the rules tonight.
yes.
And you have a prop.
Yeah.
That is not allowed, sir. I asked
She said
you
you
to
brought
put
a
that
prop on this
away.
thing.
Well, it's not a problem. This is real. And he said, I have a problem. I never
it
worked
is
with law
considered a
enforcement.
prop, Mr. Walker.
Yes.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
You're very well aware of the rules, aren't you?
Well,
Aren't you aware of the
he
rules?
brought up the truth. Let's talk about the truth.
Thank you
It's
for
like
putting that
talking to
prop
your
away.
Bad, Mr. Walker. Bad,
You know the
bad,
rules.
bad. I said no
know the
props.
rules.
No props on a debate stage. That was hilarious. I died the first time I saw him do it. It's still funny. But, so, yeah, that was pretty funny. There's some other things that went on good. Some things that I learned about Warnock. Allegedly, from the debate, the evicting people in low-income housing because they owe $30. They talked about Warnock's child support being raised because he's not home. Obviously, he's in the Senate. He's at, but it was interesting. Get online and watch it on YouTube right here, and make sure you guys go out and vote. Early voting starts on Monday here in Georgia. It goes through November 4th, and then regular voting day is November 8th. So make sure you get your vote counted. Even if you not voting for one or the other, your vote matters, especially right now this time. So that's all I got to say about that. Yeah. So we'll get into the actual real topics of today. So I want to talk about parenting and children, and my question is, if I asked you this earlier, if your child grows up to be an adult and they're a monster or they're just bad at life, is it the parent's fault? What do you think?
I think it's partly the parents' fault, only because you raised them, so you're setting the groundwork for who they become.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the community shapes them. So there's different things that mold children to be who they want to become, but ultimately the decision is their own.
Yeah.
So it takes a village to raise a child. So it's not just the parents' fault.
Mm-hmm.
It's also everyone who failed that child.
And then another part is a lot of people think that they can be like they'll be the best parents.
Mm-hmm.
They're giving their child the best life if they give them a bunch of money. But obviously, that's not always the case. That's rarely the case, actually. So this past week or actually 3 weeks for some, has been very interesting because T.I.'s son has been been talked about a lot. Boosie's son has been talked about a lot, and 50 Cent's son has been talked about a lot in the last couple of weeks.
Yes.
So I'm gonna let you see what T.I. had to say about his son, right quick.
Got a minor request. Hope everybody having a phenomenal morning. Got a small request, man. Stop hitting me and giving me my comments, telling me what to tell King, okay? I know my son. Think I ain't spoke to my son? Think I ain't told my son, his mama, and his grandmamas? His ass going to prison. If he goddamn keep that shit up, his ass going to prison. Ain't no way around it. Ain't nothing I'm gonna be able to do about it. Can't nobody stop it but him. You know what I mean? I've already had the conversation. I've already made my peace with it. Because I know that energy. I was that energy. I know exactly how it's going to turn out. Yeah. So I already had that conversation with him, man. King's a good kid, chasing after the wrong shit. And, you know, I trust in God to deal with it the way that he see fit. You know what I mean? It ain't really shit else out. You know, he done got all the whoopings, he done got the punishment, he done did it, did everything as a child you could do to him. So now he gonna have to go through it.
So that's what he said about King. But then, so there is a comedian that has been talking about King and Boosie's son, Tootie, I guess his name is, and they were talking about him, calling him ugly, calling him weak, and all that. And so T.I. was talking like this, but then this is what happens when his son gets into, or when his son has beef with somebody else in the real world. Now, mind you, his son is 18.
Yeah.
Boosie, we'll see after that how Boosie handled it.
Whatever man can fix his motherfucking face to talk shit about a motherfucking kid, bruh. Use a come deal with the daddy. Come deal with the daddy, man. Cause when the daddy get to getting on your, you gonna do nothing but hit 9-1 and wait on the one to come to follow behind. You don't want no problem. What you keep on kicking up dust for? What you keep kicking up dust for if you don't want no trouble? No tough.
So one way you talk about it, it's in God's hands, and then soon as somebody else the guy is an old guy, but so it ain't like they got real beef.
Yeah.
But if somebody just talk about your child, and your adult child, and automatically you switch back to the very person that you don't want your child to be. This is how Boosie handled it.
Hey, I want to give a special shout out, show some love to Sheriff Labatt, letting me be a part of the Academy of Hope in jail. I got to go down the right street and give some game to all them youngsters in there, all the OGs, bro. And I want to say, that shit touched me, bro. Going back in there And I want everybody not to forget about their people in jail, bro. You know, we can't forget about our people in jail, bro. It's hard for them in there, bro. And I took my son there, you know, so he can see this shit real, man.
So that's how Boosie handled it. He realized that his son was on the track and doing everything he can, or he decided to step it up and do more to try to help improve his son, see how it is in prison. So it's two different ways you can. I mean, it's multiple ways you can handle it.
Yeah.
But how you respond to things is what your child's going to see, and it can't be unnoticed. It can't go unnoticed that the way you. This is why if music is so influential, because you can say everything you want to say right now, but that child has albums and albums of music to listen to, and he sees your actions. Sees your actions. So how we talk or what we tell our child, I know I grew up with the do as I say, not as I do, right? But obviously, we understand that what your child sees you do is what they imitate.
End up doing.
Exactly. That's what they end up doing. They imitate what they see you do. They see it. That's what they do. Even in life, we say believe none of what you hear and half of what you see. So everything that you say to your child, they're not listening to that. They're looking at your actions. They're watching what you do. I remember there's this old country song called "Walk a Little Slower." You ever heard that one? That's a song. It's about a guy whose son is asking him to walk slower because he's trying to follow in his footsteps.
Yeah.
So especially for men have such an impact on their children because you're the first foundation of what is supposed to be strength. Their vision of strength, their vision of capabilities to accomplish things. It's supposed to be the men. And if you're not showing your child with your actions, they're going to they're listening with their eyes.
Yes.
So I remember, sometimes my son would, like, if we were watching a movie or we're watching something and he hears them say curse words, he doesn't say it as much anymore, but he would say, "Oh, they curse," and he's looking at me like, "Why are you watching it?" Because they're using profanity, and I would tell him, because I'm grown, man, I watch what I want, but I didn't tell him that. I said, "What do you see me do?" I said, "Do you hear me cursing?"
Yeah.
He said, "No." I said, "Then do that. Do what I do. Do what you see me do." Because that's how cycles can get stopped from profanity, domestic altercations. All of that stuff is what your child sees is what they're going to imitate, because it's what they grew, what's in them. You're putting in them through what they see. I love the analogy. I'm all about plants and how things grow in biology. The acorn, once the acorn falls from the tree, nothing tells that acorn that it's supposed to create a root and start to grow into the ground, to push that root into the ground. Nothing tells the acorn that it's an oak tree. It just does because it's in him.
Yeah.
It's in the acorn. What you have put in your child for 18 years, by what they see you do, that's what they're going to imitate. And the other issue is 50 Cent.
Yeah.
So we know 50 Cent didn't. I mean, 50 Cent will troll anybody on YouTube. He'll troll anybody on Instagram, Twitter, whatever he got to troll somebody, he gonna troll him. And he do. I mean, that's how you stay in the in the view of the world.
relevant.
Stay relevant.
Yeah.
So his son is
Marquise.
Marquise. What you know about that story?
Enlighten me.
So his son is 25 years old
Mm-hmm.
and is on social media talking about how the fact that his 50 is only sending him $6,700 a month
Oh wow.
for child support.
At 25?
Yes, exactly. So, I mean, after a couple times I'm talking about it, 50 did what 50 do. He trolled him. So he shot a video with him in the bathtub, smoking a cigar, talking about, you 25 years old, talking about child support. So eventually he did that, and then just recently his son is like, okay, I'll give you the $6,700 just for some 4-hour time with you.
Oh,
Yeah, right.
that's sad.
Even at 25 years old, he still want to spend time with his
Yeah,
dad.
because even though your child grows up,
Mhm.
that doesn't mean you spend less time with them.
Yeah.
That means you should spend more time with them because you're relearning them. Because when they're an adult, they're not the same as a child. You have to come into their light and see what they are as an adult.
Yeah, and even if I think it's more so the fact that he didn't spend enough time with him as a child. We spend too much time. Too much of our time is spent trying to provide financially
Mm-hmm.
for a child instead of providing with love and time and just engaging with your child.
Mm-hmm.
Like me and my son have some crazy conversations. I remember we've argued about stuff. I literally will get in debates with him just to make him continue to think creatively.
Yeah.
Like, we had a debate on the way to church one day about why would somebody pay somebody else to clean their house.
Mm-hmm.
And
I would.
Huh?
I would.
Yeah.
I need like a nanny.
But what happened was, by the time we made it from church to the house, by the time we made it to the church, we had a full conversation on the value of time versus money.
Mm-hmm.
And we was able to understand, if I spend $100, if I pay somebody $100 to clean my house and it takes an hour, well, I can make $1,000 in an hour in my field of employment or work or income. I've just gained $900.
Yeah.
That time that you spend with your children as they growing up, because the funny thing is remember, we become full grown adults mentally at the age of 25. Mm-hmm. That's when we finally become fully developed mentally. So the fact that his son is trying to get time with him at 25 mm-hmm. is like, that's the last moment of his growth. So we just got to make sure that don't be so driven on giving your kids the best of everything but your time.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing. Is time and your time and what they see you do.
Yeah. Because they're watching.
Generations. That's how you prepare a generation. I mean, like, my daddy still tell me about my great granddaddy, who I never even met. Yeah. But the time and spending, I feel like I met him after a couple of quotes, because you know how your parents are. They got the same quote. They'll tell you the same quote every time they see you, like it's the first time they said it. My dad be like, my big daddy would say, boy, you go to school all your life, but if you ain't got common sense, it won't do you a bit of good. I feel like I know my big daddy just when him tell me that. Yeah. Like, yeah, that do make sense. Big daddy must have been a smart dude.
Then it starts to click and start running.
Yeah. But all of that's what matters. Mm-hmm. You can have all the money in the world. You can't take it with you. That's what kills me about this job. You cannot take it with you. Why is everybody in the world thinking that we still living in the pyramid ages. You can't get buried with that. They're not gonna load your whole casket up with all this money. What are you doing?
They're working for the next generation, but the next generation, they don't value the things that the things that we're doing to set the ground.
I kind of disagree with it. They're working for the next generation.
I think they are. A lot of people are selfish.
They're confused.
They do for themselves, but the majority of people want to see a better future. That's why we have like all the climate control and everything. We're trying to regulate stuff like that, so it won't be as bad.
But the majority is not. That's why almost half of the country. Actually, he did. President Trump won the popular vote, and he pulled out of the climate accord deal, the Paris climate accord deal, and Republicans will not. So when we were during the pandemic, Republicans they were doing the stimulus package votes, and the Republicans. Obviously, it was bipartisan for the stimulus package, but Republicans, the Democrats tried to put into the bill laws to start producing renewable energy, and the Republicans they struck that out of the law. The Republicans tried to put in there tax breaks for big businesses. And the Democrats struck that out.
Yeah.
So we're counterintuitive, and that's what I was talking about before. Because if you leave your children millions of dollars, but you voted for a party that never puts forth any renewable energy or greenhouse or environmental protection policies, you've left them a bunch of money in the world that they won't be able to survive in physically.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's the only reason I disagree that they're doing it for the legacy, because really the legacy is not really money, because money comes and goes. You have ups and downs. You have different seasons of prosperity, growth, and fall and winter. But the legacy is what is passed from generation to generation in the mindset. The mindset, because obviously, as we just listened to these rappers, their wealth has not influenced their children positively. So that's it. I mean, that's everything on the rap community right now. We'll talk about some more about that next week.